Hillary Clinton claimed nobody in Washington likes Bernie Sanders, but it's a little bit of a different story outside the swamp, where the cranky commie has racked up a commanding lead in the key early voting states of Iowa and New Hampshire. An all-new Emerson poll of registered Democrats shows 30% of Iowa voters are backing Bernie. That's 9 points higher than Sleepy Joe. He clocked in with 21%. Amy Klobuchar, she's in third, doing very well, working that state super hard. She got 13%, knocking Elizabeth Warren off the podium. Poor Liz just has 11% of the vote. And just when you thought Democratic Party leaders couldn't get any angrier, a CNN University of New Hampshire poll shows Bernie running away with the second primary in New Hampshire, 25% of the vote, compared to Joe Biden's 16%. Pete Buttigieg running third at 15, very close. Elizabeth Warren seems destined for that big teepee in the sky with just 12% of support. Can the establishment Democrats find a way to stop voters from feeling the burn? A little salve and some penicillin. Or is it time for the Sanders campaign to hire a food taster? Joining me now, Real Clear Politics co-founder and executive editor Tom Bevan is back. Welcome back.
Hi, Kennedy.
This is so exciting. So what is Bernie Sanders doing right in Iowa and New Hampshire?
You know, that's a great question. I complained for weeks and weeks that for all the attention and influence we give Iowa, we didn't have a lot of data coming out of Iowa. We only had 3 polls in the past, month and a half or so. And suddenly the floodgates open on Friday. And we got a ton of polls over the weekend, and it's been pretty much all good news for Bernie.
Yes.
And he's now leading in our Real Clear Politics average by about 3 points. And look, I think at the bottom line is as Elizabeth Warren has really been falling off in Iowa and New Hampshire, and that seems to have accrued to Bernie's favor. I mean, he's picking up support. He's building. His trend lines look great. Biden's don't look very good. So I'm not exactly sure what's causing Bernie's surge. I mean, all these candidates are working the ground game in Iowa and New Hampshire, and they're all bombarding the airwaves. You can't go to Iowa now and watch 5 minutes of television without seeing an ad from at least all the campaigns.
Be the most annoying place to be for people who just want to live a normal life. So I think something that has helped Bernie, certainly the Hillary Clinton statement that nobody likes him, that backfired because I Like Bernie was trending on Twitter, and I don't think the comment that he supposedly made to Elizabeth Warren hurt him the way that she and her campaign were hoping that it would, so close to the Iowa caucuses. But also impeachment, keeping Bernie off the trail, that hasn't hurt either. So I can't imagine what happens to Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren's campaigns if they both lose Iowa and New Hampshire. How do they have a path forward?
Well, I mean, I think Elizabeth Warren's the one who's really in danger. I mean, she falls out into 4th place in Iowa and doesn't make that 15% threshold where she wins any delegates. I mean, I think her campaign is in the beginning of the end for her.
Yeah.
Joe Biden's in a bit of a different situation because he's got still has support among African-American voters. He's got his quote-unquote firewall in South Carolina, though it's going to be an awful long 3.5 weeks between February 3rd when the Iowa votes and February 29th when South Carolina votes. If he finishes, off the pace in Iowa and tanks in New Hampshire as well, I mean, he's going to be facing a narrative that his campaign is imploding, and he may not even make it to his firewall.
Okay. Yes, and that's a position that we saw Jeb Bush in 2016, as you remember. So what does Joe Biden do at that point? I mean, does he just hope and pray that he magically picks up steam and that Bernie Sanders somehow falls off the map and the first 2 early voting states where there's so much attention, there's so much pressure and so much polling that they become anomalies?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. I mean, again, you can't win the Democratic nomination without winning at least a decent chunk of minority voters. And right now, Bernie has some of those voters, but I'm not sure he has enough. Biden still has really strong support among African Americans. So that would have to shift.
But Bernie has picked up support.
He has.
Among African American voters. And
Latinos.
How much could 2 early wins help him there?
Well, I mean, these are obviously states that don't have a lot of minority voters, so I'm not sure. But again, we saw this shift when Obama won Iowa. Suddenly, everything shifted in his favor. So that's part number 1. But part number 2, you mentioned this sort of in your monologue, which is to hire a food taster. The Democratic establishment is going to fight back, and whether that is
they already are.
They already are.
You've got Obama surrogates. You've got Hillary Clinton basically endorsing her own statement that nobody likes him, and the press working overtime against Bernie.
And you also have President Obama himself saying, there was a story just the other day saying that he's weighing, you know, if Bernie does look like he's starting to run away with this nomination, Obama will come out and go negative on him publicly. And so, you know, in some form or fashion, the establishment will fight back against Bernie. And that's going to leave, I mean, that's going to be a replay of 2016. It's going to leave a lot of bruised feelings.
Do it. Go for it. Have at it. Make Joe Biden your nominee. I would love that. I think that would be great. And then Bernie Sanders should take his ball and go run third party and really stick it to everyone who's tried to snuff his campaign. I disagree with him philosophically, but I do have a soft spot for him and the way, as a misfit, he has been mistreated by this party. Tom Bevan, thank you so much.